Welcome back to the Veteran Teacher Files. I'm your host, the Dragon Lady. And I need to say something up front. Teachers are terrible at taking care of themselves. Not forget to drink water terrible. Not stay up late greeting once in a while terrible. I mean consistently, historically, professionally terrible. We show up sick, stressed, exhausted, emotionally overloaded, and running on fumes. And we're still more concerned about whether copies are ready for Tuesday than we are if we're actually okay to even be there. And this doesn't even seem wild to us or strange. It's just us being responsible. And after more than 20 years in education, I can confidently say that, in my opinion, teachers are the only people who can actively be falling apart and still apologize for the inconvenience. So, my second year teaching, I was about 24 or 25, and at that age, you think you understand adulthood, but you really don't. You think emergencies look like fire drills and dramatic phone calls, but not always. So I had this grade level partner, and she was on her fourth pregnancy. And in my young teacher brain, I assumed she was basically like a seasoned expert. Like, she knew what she was doing. She's got this handled. No worries. So one morning, I'm following behind her in the hallway, and suddenly she just kind of stops, like full stop, and leans against this brick wall and starts bracing herself. And I realized something was happening. Her water had broken. Now, I want to be clear. I had absolutely no training for this. My teacher prep program did not include hallway labor response protocol. So I rushed over because my brain is screaming, "This is above your pay grade. Quick, find an adult." So I get her into a nearby classroom, and another teacher calls the front office. And everything's moving quickly, as it should. And I'm standing there thinking, okay, this is officially an emergency. And she is not matching that energy at all. She's not panicking. She's not yelling. She's not even like rushing, but she is worried. And at first, I couldn't tell what about, but then I heard her. Copies. She was mumbling about copies. I thought she was about to start timing her contractions. She was trying to remember if she'd already run off enough copies of the spelling test for next week. And I'm just standing there like, I think a human being is about to like pop out of your body, and she's worrying about Tuesday. And the thing is, at 25, I thought this was completely unhinged. But now, after so many years in education, I have absolutely stood in the hall in the copy room at 7:15 in the morning thinking to myself, if I don't finish this, my whole week is going to fall apart. I've become that person who understands her logic, which is the most disturbing part of this to me. So let's fast forward to some years later, and I'm working with this teacher who is having a really rough year. Not just, I need a break rough. I mean, the kind of year where your body starts sending notifications you can't ignore. Stress symptoms, exhaustion, that deep kind of fatigue or sleep stops being helpful. So she'd gone in for several tests, seen her doctor several times, and her doctor tells her she needs a month off. A whole month. Now, I don't know about you, but I've gone to my doctor before and basically said, hey, I'm burnt out. And my doctor has never handed me the magical teacher vacation note. You know the one, the note that says, this patient is prohibited from attending staff meetings, answering emails, or participating in professional development for the next 4 weeks. Usually I get, try resting, are you eating okay, have you been sleeping, which is completely adorable advice for teachers. That's like telling a fish to just, try being on land for a little bit. Yeah, Rest sounds great. Rest sounds luxurious. Rest sounds fictional. The question is always like, when? When am I supposed to rest? Anyways, so this teacher actually gets an approved month off. And she's telling me this. And instead of relief, she's like, I can't. I don't want to write subplans. I'm like, what? Her main concern wasn't her health. It was a sub binder or sub plans or sub whatever. Because somewhere in the teacher brain, there's this belief that the classroom will like collapse into chaos if you don't personally prepare laminated instructions for every possible scenario. Even our absence has to be managed. Even our breakdown has to be scheduled. So yeah, she totally passed up the opportunity to have a month off and just worked on through it. So here's the next category. This one isn't about a single person. It's about a pattern that I've seen, unfortunately, way too many times. Teachers, librarians, secretaries, and co-workers showing up to work wearing scarves, wigs, sitting quietly through treatment, and still trying to hold everything together for their students and for their schools. Still answering emails, still checking in on kids, still asking, did recess get covered? When they absolutely should not be worrying about anything except themselves. So, I once worked with this woman who was diagnosed with cancer, and she was further along in her cancer. So the doctor wanted to schedule her surgery for the following week. Not an eventually, not a let's see how it goes, the following week. And she straight up asked if it could wait, because the next week was science night. Science night. Not because she misunderstood the severity, not because she didn't care, but because she cared too much. And somewhere out there, there's a doctor who still tells the story like, I once had a patient who asked to postpone her cancer surgery for science night. Can you believe it? Ha 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 ha. And every teacher hearing this is probably just like, yep, that tracks. I get it. And that's the part that gets you. Not that it's shocking, but that it's recognizable. So, I don't know what it is about this profession. Maybe it attracts people who care deeply. Maybe it trains us to be everyone else's caretakers and to anticipate everyone else's needs before our own. Maybe after enough years, we just stop noticing how far we've drifted away from our own normal urgency. But I do know this. The school will figure it out. It always does. The copies will get made. The lesson plans will get covered. Science night will happen. It will all keep going. The real question is whether we remember that we're allowed to pause before life forces us to, because sometimes the copies can wait. Anyways, if you enjoyed this episode of the Veteran Teacher Files, make sure to follow, subscribe, and share it with a fellow educator who absolutely has a just in case I die unexpectedly subfolder somewhere in their classroom. I want to hear from you. What's the most teacher thing you've ever seen someone push through when they absolutely should have stopped? Drop it in the comments and let me know. I'm the Dragon Lady, and this has been an episode of the Veteran Teacher Files.